Hi there, everyone. My name's Nick. You know me as the noisy guy on LinkedIn. I'm here today to do some inspirational work for everybody. As we go into the new year, I thought the best thing that I could do for myself and for the community would be to make this video to represent the opening of this year's UX Live conference presented by Tech Circus. I did it specifically to give back to the community because we've all been through so much over the past year or two with the pandemic and with Brexit and God knows what else, that actually it's time to look at us. It's time to be a bit more inward focusing and a bit more community focused. So what I've put together is a slightly extended version of that deck. So I'm going to take you through it now. So first of all, we spend our working lives dedicated to our users. Or we all do. Any practitioner in user experience is spending their daily working lives working for our users. And that's our job. That's fair enough. But what about your needs? What about your needs as a human being, as a UX person? So today, this is all about you. This is actually all about us. And there's so many different kinds of us. There's lots of us. We're all over the world. We are everywhere. But really, if I can get the things to go forward, we are the people of UX. And we're different kinds of people. We are user researchers. We are designers of all types. We are content designers. And what we do is we learn and we understand and we create constantly. Because every single digital product and service in the world is created by people like us. That means not product folk, not marketing people, not management consultants, not coaches and not managers. People like you. The thing is that we are the only people in between product and the user experience. So leadership will say, hey, let's make a thing, let's build it, let's do it. For whatever reason. Product management will say, great, I'll manage it with the roadmap, put it all together. And we UX folk will research and design it. Developers will go ahead and build it. But effectively what that means is that we are the user experience. That's really big. And that's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. But that also means we are the agents of user centricity. We see the world as it is. So, especially the user researchers amongst us. And so that means we have a very different view of the world sometimes to the corporate world inside. That means we're usually fighting for user centricity. And it's tiring. We fight for user centricity. We fight for user needs. We fight committees every single week of our working lives. But what we really do is we fight top-down thinking with bottom-up evidence. Whether you like it or not, that makes us agents of genuine, lasting change. And again, unwittingly for many, we become digital visionaries because we're seeing the world as it is and the way it can be through the meeting of user needs and the removing of pain points. Well, because we have this different view of the world, or this real view of the world, we are inherently disruptive because the view of the business and the view of the individual, or of the UXer, may be very different. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's a very good thing. And of course, that makes us inherently transformative people. So we help needs to get met. Okay, that's core UX 101. We help to remove the pain and the frustration. This is me. This is me on most digital interactions today. We exist to make the world a better place. But the pandemic has very much changed our world. And what's important now is how we adapt and recreate in this new world, in this new environment, in this new normal, shall we say. And that's largely down to us, the service designers amongst us, all the UX designers amongst us. This creates a phenomenal opportunity for you in UX, because change is your chance to shine. That means you, me, us, we are the architects of a better world. And that sounds really grandiose and fluffy, but it is as real as you can imagine. Architecting a better world with all of the digital interaction that we have today comes down to UX. And if we have a beautiful balance of visual and behavioral design, then we are going to architect a better world where user needs are met, pain points are removed, and that is a better world. Now, you see problems as opportunities to fix, and that makes you relatively unique in the digital landscape, or even in the global business landscape. We are problem solvers, and we run at problems rather than running away from problems. You also love to create great experiences. And that passion, that drive is what is necessary in order to overcome all of the hurdles and barriers and anti-gravity that we experience. And we exist to make lives easier. We are barrier smashers. We take out road bumps. We make journeys, ways of doing things easier. But ultimately, and most importantly, you are the interface between the warmth of humanity and the cold of computing systems. Now think about that for just a moment, because it's really important. It's critical. Without UX people, business and cold algorithms are the experience. Or just stupid, undesigned, badly designed experiences. So we are the difference. We are that middle point. And we are the unsung heroes of digital. We may not be the most popular folk, and I speak for myself, I speak for many of my peers and colleagues. Doing UX is not a popularity contest. If sometimes to make the world a better place takes some battles. We've got to fight for what's right. And those fights go unnoticed or unrecognized in the value that they bring, not only to the organization, but to the wider world. Now, UX people tend to be helpful, fun, visionary, frustrated, curious, creative, analytical, empathic, and lateral thinkers. But above all, UX people tend to be amazing. UX people are diverse of all different kinds, and we all have different approaches, different perspectives. But what unites all the great UXers that I've ever met is that they're amazing people. They just want to do good, solve problems, do some cool stuff. I call that amazing. So, stand tall. I know we get beaten around and we don't get the recognition that we often deserve. But stand tall. You're doing amazing work. Fight the fight. Be proud of what you've achieved. I know some of us work, a lot of us in user research in the UK work in public sector. And it's a phenomenally complex, interconnected, political environment. And it's very, very difficult to do things. So achieving anything is something to be proud of. And even a small incremental change is massive. So be proud of your achievements. If they're in the public sector, be proud of small achievements and the way that they ratchet up to bigger achievements. But be proud of what you've achieved, because you don't necessarily get the kudos and the recognition that you should have, but be proud anyway. Take risks. What have you got to lose? Things are getting so bad in our digital world, in the world of interaction, that the commercial world of digital interaction is so bad That what have you got to lose? If you're in a job and you're really not enjoying it, take some risks. Go maverick. I go maverick all the time. You're never going to get into trouble if you're doing good stuff without permission. Seriously. Do the work. Do the user-centric work and take the risks. If you get into trouble, send them my way. But don't compromise your integrity, your core values. There's a lot of people in this world today telling you lots and lots of garbage, or trying to persuade you or gaslight you into believing things that just aren't true, that may or may not compromise your core values. Stick to them. There's too much BS in this world. There's too much noise, not enough signal. Be the signal, not the noise. And that means sticking to your core principles. One that's very close to my own heart is be authentic. I'm a scientist. I see authenticity as part of the gig. It's just who I am. But being authentic, being real in today's world is, I think, rare and beautiful. And I would strongly encourage everybody to just tell the truth. Be honest. Don't play games. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know or I haven't done that before. Just be real. Learn. Open your mind. And above all, above everything, be yourself. Don't be somebody that you think you ought to be. When I started in UX, I thought I needed to have a troubadour haircut, rolled up jeans, a moleskin notebook and a Sharpie pen, and a whole stack of very cool pastel-coloured Post-it notes. You know, back in the day, 10 years ago, that was kind of the thing, but we've moved on a long, long way since then. There is no UX uniform or way of doing things, and there are definitely no rules of UX, despite the books that you read out there. Be yourself. Create your own UX brand, but stick to core user-centric principles. Be yourself, no matter what they say. And in this world of interconnected social networks, people are going to say stuff about you. So what? I mean, so what? Drive forward, keep your eye on the prize, do the good work. Now, this is the extended section. I've lost all my fonts, so whatever. This is the bit that I've tagged on that if you were at UX Live, you will not have seen. This is the bit that I've just tagged on for a little bit more feel-good because there's some truth-saying to be done here. So some resolutions for 2022. Never compare yourself to social media posts or posters. Now, I know that sounds really obvious, and I do it, you do it, we all do it all the time. It's a very core skill these days to be able to be a little bit more objective and a little bit more distanced from all of the input that we're exposed to. Why? Well, the most popular posts on social media, especially LinkedIn if I'm honest, are usually fake, heavily edited at best. It's not true. It's just window dressing. It's noise. It's spin. Comparing yourself to fake news has got absolutely no value and is really bad for your mental health. Now, we all do it, but try not to. Try to recognize when you're doing it. Don't beat yourself up just because you're not like somebody else or you're not at their stage of their career as them. Don't do it. I do it all day, every day, and I'm trying not to. So I've put this in here. In reality, we all do this. The key is to learning to recognize when it happens to stop it. Okay? The effect of unregulated social networks is really crazy, and that's a whole different video. But right now, it's a bit like comparing yourself to the Joneses next door, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just not healthy. The other big resolution for 2022 is to learn from people with significant practitioner experience. Because there's lots of people out there who are holding themselves out as gurus and mentors and coaches and trainers. And to be honest, once you look them up, they've got no heritage, they've got no pedigree, they've got no significant practitioner experience. Even LinkedIn is doing training programs for UX UI from people who have never done UX before. I mean, that's ridiculous. There's no way you can learn anything good in that kind of an environment. But people are making money from you. And it's really difficult for me and lots of other senior folk in UX to watch you guys getting really badly conned, ripped off. And just because it's not illegal means they get to get away with it. And it's really, really wrong. Anyone can offer you an UX education, but only a very small number of people have the experience to do so. People are trying to cash in on your need to learn UX by selling anything as UX. And it usually isn't UX. And the people delivering it are not UXs. And the people that wrote it are probably not UXs. And they're not UXs of any real experience. They're Googling stuff. Okay? It's not good. I see this at management consultancies. I see it all over the place. People are faking seniority or expertise by Googling stuff. And their knowledge is paper thin. And finally, UX is hard, okay? I'm saying it out loud. We all struggle. Embrace that struggle. UX is one of those things that you just have to get stuck into and be dedicated to because it's not easy. It's a labor of love in most cases, okay? Sorry, I lost my fonts. That's why this looks a bit crap. But UX is surprisingly difficult for most people, including myself. It's constantly challenging, which is also why I love it. But it's also why so many people leave our practice. You hear people coming into it, but all the people that go out of it end up going to product or other kind of practices. Or most people want to become management or senior management quickly so that they don't have to do the difficult practitioner stuff. But sticking around, embracing the struggle, it hardens you, it prepares you for true seniority in real UX practices and ultimately builds real confidence. And that's confidence to know what to do in different situations. And there's no boot camp or trainer or mentor or coach in the world that can teach you that. You have to be guided through it experientially. And remember that we all struggle. Even the most senior UXers. Everybody struggles because UX is hard. And that's okay. Okay? Don't think that people like me or other high visibility UXers are somehow, we don't struggle, we don't challenge, I used to have hair when I started UX. And what I did have wasn't grey. UX is tough, okay? It's okay to struggle with it, and it's okay to say that out loud, okay? But here's what's important. Keep going. Dig in. Keep going. The more you stick with it, the more you learn, the easier it gets. You're certainly not alone in your struggle. We are all right here with you together. We are all user-centric practitioners, and that's what separates us from everybody else in digital. And together, all of us, we will make the world a better place. Simple. It really is that easy. In practice, it's a bit more difficult, as you well know, but we're driving towards it. So let's do this. Okay? This is our year, 2022. It doesn't matter that the pandemic is here, that Brexit has happened, that IR35 has happened, and that we're basically at war from all sides. The UX world has got so much to grow, and you can be a part of that growing potential. You've got to convince your leaders of the need to be more user-centric, the need to get real seniors in with real UX experience and start to develop a real user-centric practice, because money and reduced costs follow. It happens every time, and it's the cornerstone of everything that I do. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a very, very happy New Year. Hope you're going out tonight. It's actually New Year's Eve right now. It's now 7:40 in the evening UK time. So I'm going to go and edit this, put it online, and have a few drinkies. So very happy Christmas to you all. God, I did so well through the whole video and I fluffed up right at the end. Very happy New Year to you all. I'll see you in 2020.